Hello and welcome to Confide on Klevnar TV. My name is Josephine. Here we create awareness, provide access, and support to mental health services. I am joined today by our lovely guest, Nidal Saeed. Hello, Nidal. How are you? You good?
I'm good.
Thank you so much for coming online. We appreciate you so much. But before we hand over to you so you can tell us a little bit about yourself, let me tell our audiences who you are. So, everybody, I'm so excited to have Nadal because I have seen her work and I just think she's a fantastic creative. Today, our topic is actually keeping mentally through creative arts. And that's why we have our amazing guest here today. Nadal Saeed is a Sudanese Australian Muslim artist, poet, creative, businesswoman, educator, and student of life. Hello, Nadal. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. I know we were joking before about just having the same color scheme. I just think that today is just a calm, radiating day, and I'm feeling your
Yeah,
energy.
I'm feeling yours too.
Oh,
Um,
so tell us a
yeah.
little bit about yourself. What are your hobbies? What are your interests? And how did you get into the creative art space?
I would say that my hobbies include visual art. My main my main art form is poetry.
Mm,
And into painting and writing poetry
mm,
is I just needed a space for me to express myself in a very healthy way, and I felt like this was the type of expression that I felt most connected to. I've always been a creative person, and I didn't actually know that what I was writing in my journals was poetry. It would just come out of me,
yeah.
and release my thoughts and emotions. And yeah, it all started from there as a young girl, just trying to find a space to be myself.
Lovely. And honestly, I've heard some of your thoughts, your poetry, and it is quite deep. I know I didn't ask you, but I hope at the end we can hear a little something if that's all right.
Oh, that's all right. I will find
Okay.
something.
Okay, no worries. That's great because I want people to just, get a glimpse of you. And at the end, we will tell them where to find you on socials. But so I have a few questions because obviously today we want to get to know a little bit about you and what you do. So the first thing I'd like to know is what is your journey in regards to identity?
Oh, I would say that um, when I first used to speak about identity, I would always refer to my nationality, where I come from,
Mhm.
and me as an immigrant.
Yeah.
Um, and just as I started to learn and unlearn and relearn and be so completely submerged into my self discovery and my journey of healing, I recognized identity as something not just about my roots, but also including my traumas and my family history and my systems and lifestyles and my faith and um, all of the ways that make us human, including our sexual orientation and
Yeah.
all of the things combined together to make us who we are. And I feel like that was so important.
Yeah.
Because we are human and always experiencing and always changing, our identity will shift and it becomes ever evolving.
Yeah.
It becomes um, it becomes something that we are always building on. So
Definitely.
yeah, so my personal journey has been filled with so much unconditioning,
I'm
so
telling
much love.
you, you're not one.
Honestly,
Mm,
yes, trying to eliminate habits and all of those things. And so it becomes a lot of self
mm,
work in order to get the self. worth that we need and build on our self care and self love. And that's what my identity has become, just a constant um, moving and learning myself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, thank you so much for sharing that. So, can I ask you, if somebody was to ask you, what is your identity? What would you say?
Oh, I would say I am a Muslim Sudanese Black woman who
There
is
you
also a poet, and I am also a very spiritual woman. And my identity is just extremely unique to me. Um, as much as I am part of a community, I am also one of one. I am
go.
myself,
Yeah.
and that is my identity.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. I like the part where you were talking about identity is always evolving, because I found that in 2020 when the pandemic hit, like my one of my reflections was actually, I wrote in a piece that I was just like, I posted before the new year, and I just said, one of the things was I learned to unlearn some of the things that I valued, things that
Mhm.
I had held as Bible. I said to myself, I don't even know where that comes from. And I'm
Right.
somebody who's very confident and sure of myself. But that was the first time when I realized that life is a journey and you're not quite certain. And I think because of the pandemic, I realized that the things that I valued and held true, I started to question them. And that's when I realized you don't have to be so hard on yourself, because there are different phases in life, and the things that we identify with gradually with time can change or can even be strengthened. So I think it is beautiful the way you've just explained that it's always evolving and we're always growing. So yeah, thanks so much for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my next question to you is, what does your craft do for you mentally?
Oh, wow. I would say poetry honestly gave me a space and a page for the noise of my heart, and
Mhm.
visual art and painting gave me a canvas to express the noise in my mind.
Wow.
And I believe every person is a creative in one way or another,
Mhm.
whether you are an engineer or a scientist or a lawyer. There is always a craft that we have, and my craft has been so helpful in just providing me a safe space.
Mhm.
Um, and get lost in the creative world and not feel guilty about being there. It allowed me to indulge in something that was healthy,
Mhm.
in a way for me to release rather than indulging in unhealthy habits and then being stuck in that cycle of damage. So I could literally say that my craft and my art saved me from so much.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
wow. No, that's really cool. So, do you feel like, other than obviously the healing and the saving side of things, what else do you think it does for you mentally? Like, because I know, different creatives, like I myself have a little bit of writing that I do. And I feel like I'm an emotional writer, but I've heard some very
Yeah.
beautiful, yeah, I've heard some beautiful things from poets that are very, like, enthusiastic and full of life. Like, I feel like mine is more on the dark side. Like whenever like that dark cloud hovers, I'm like, oh, woe is me here today. I like, So I feel like,
Yeah.
you like, so I want to know, like, what style of like writing and how do you like channel that mentally? Like, what do you do?
Mm. Oh, wow. My style of poetry, I would say is very spiritual
Mm,
and really connects with just my experience as an African person.
yeah.
Um, it's very, it's very deep.
Mm,
Um, very vast and diverse because no matter what I'm speaking about, whether it's pain, whether it's trauma, whether it's celebrating who we are as people, I always tap into um, who I am and always go back to who I am as a person, and I am an African person,
Mm,
and I feel like so many people of our communities that they resonate with the type of poetry I write because it
yeah,
speaks to each person in a different way.
definitely.
um, Very spiritual, um, and I love that um, like many people can look at one piece and interpret so many different things
Exactly.
about it. Yeah, things that I didn't even know I was feeling when I was writing it because the way that the poems come to me is I just feel this energy
It's
and this urgency.
spiritual, very spiritual.
So it's like I'm
Yeah.
just a vessel. I am honestly a vessel for these messages
Mm,
and these um, and I allow them to fill me up and just flow into the page.
wow.
So
No, no, that's good. That's good. So the next thing we're talking about spirituality, is your art spiritual and does it have a healing power?
oh, I would, from my experience, I would say so.
Mm,
I only say so. I would say my poetry is spiritual because I believe in words being
mm,
powerful.
mm,
Um, I I think whether you're from whatever religion you are a part of or whatever belief system you have and spiritual journey you're on, I feel like we can all agree that when we speak our scriptures,
yeah,
when we speak into the universe and when we speak, we're affirming. We are affirming what we're saying and we truly believe what we are saying.
yeah.
And it's so important to know that words are powerful.
Mm,
Um, Literally, like you are casting a spell,
mm,
and it takes on a form of itself. And I see that in the way that pastors speak and
mm,
imams,
mm,
people who are just talking about their deep emotions.
mm.
You are affirming these words, and so it is very important to be careful of what you say to others because they
Definitely.
take on. Um, and that's why I do believe my art is spiritual because of the words that I use.
Mm.
And I believe it's healing because I know what it's done for me,
Wow.
um,
Come
and
on.
how much it helped me,
Mm,
honestly. And
mm,
not just write my own poetry, but reading other people's poetry,
mm,
um, and creatives and people who don't even consider themselves poets, like people who've
mm.
written something that they've decided to share on a social media platform, and it can go like as far as tweets. When people tweet and they
Yeah.
tweet something we feel, and people share it because they resonate with that, and I
Wow.
feel like that is healing.
Yeah.
um so yeah, I do believe that it is both healing and spiritual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. Like, honestly, I agree because firstly, like everything is like you said in the words that we speak. You know, a lot of times the battle is in the mind, and some of the words that we utter can either give us strength or take
Yeah.
the strength away from us. And I've realized that I don't know if it's a generational thing, but I find that a lot of young people now are starting to really take seriously words of affirmation. You know, a lot of people are practicing this daily, and it does work. It does work because it's you speaking your truth in the way that you want to see positivity in
Mm.
your life. You know, you can't wait for somebody to speak life into you. In fact, people are more able to speak negativity, you know, behind your back and, you know, be fake to you. But the only person that can be true and honest to you is yourself. You know,
Yeah.
self love is, it is hard. I'm not going to lie. It's definitely
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that I love about this particular generation of ours is that we are just all about the affirmations,
We are.
and it may be a little egotistic, but hey, at least it gets
Hey,
us going, you know. And so yeah,
yes,
like, I definitely agree that words have power, and the best words are the most poetic and beautiful because, like you said, it can be interpreted in different ways. So what I may
mhm,
say, you may receive differently.
yes,
So
yes. I
well,
agree with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, in saying that, we're just going to take a little break just so you can get your words. And when we come back, maybe you can give us a little something.
Awesome. No worries.
Thank you.
Clevenard in Diaspora Television is an internet online TV service. What sets us apart is a unique combination of hit African content, first and exclusive international free movies, series, musics, news, events, documentaries, tourism, teleshopping shows, youth TV programs, and live interviews. Clevenard Diaspora Television is available throughout sub-Saharan Africa and to the diaspora markets worldwide. Take your entertainment with you wherever you go. Watch on your smartphone, tablet, laptop, smart TV, depending on your device. Watch free movies with Clevenard Movies Television. Stop searching for free movies websites and watch Clevenard Movies Television. Watch your favorite African shows anywhere at any time. Don't forget to check out our top 5 TV channels created to get you informed. TV1, Clevenard in Diaspora Television. TV2, Clevenard Youth Television. TV3, Clevenard Movies Television. TV4, Clevenard Teleshopping Television. TV5, Clevenard Tourism Television. To start watching, sign up at www.clevenard.com and follow the easy steps. Once you're done, log into the Clevenard website or app on your device, click on any one of our 5 TV channels, and hit play. We will be very satisfied and happy to welcome you to our team as one of our new business partners. Contact info@clevenard.com +34 631 279811. Website www.clevenard.com. Clevenard in Diaspora Television is an internet online TV service. What sets us apart is a unique combination of hit African content.
Welcome back to Confide on Clevnard. We are here today with Nidal. And just before we continue our lovely conversations, Nidal will be reciting one of her poems for us.
Yes, it is my pleasure to be sharing my poetry with you all. The poem that I'm about to recite is untitled, like most of my poems. And I'm just going to speak and I'll allow you to interpret however you feel. Souls of soul, we behold within skin. Magnetism in our foes, still wonder unknown of the paradise that lays beneath mother's toes. It's not just our hair ascends towards sky like trees. It's that skin absorbs the soul like photosynthesis.
Mhm.
A womb, man, seed, balanced by the gentle force of masculinity. This is divine feminine energy. Thank you.
We love that. We love that. We love that. And you know, I love just conversations about like feminine energy right now because for 2 years it's taken me a while to really tap into that energy. And
Yeah.
you know, people don't get it, but it's actual work because, like you said before, to unlearn what we already know and to actually tap
Mhm.
into our new identity, I think one of those is femininity. because people don't realize being a woman doesn't just naturally mean you're feminine. And
Right.
so as you were speaking, I was just like, speak the truth, speak the truth. But yeah, let me not get off our conversations. But I will come back on the topic of femininity because you just embody everything
Oh,
feminine.
bless you. Thank you.
So question number 4 I would like to ask you is, can you describe mental illness in one verse? Like, I know it's improv, but
Mm.
just to, like, it doesn't have to even make sense. Just to you, what
Uh,
is mental illness? Yeah.
Mental illness, I believe, is the holistic imbalance of self.
Mm.
Holistic imbalance of self,
Mm.
because mental health is the balance of self.
Oh, wow. You
Mm.
you just speak poetry. Everything you say is just magic for me.
Oh my god.
Wow. An imbalance. Can you
Mm.
explain that a little bit?
Yeah, I would say an imbalance because I believe when it comes to being mentally healthy, you have everything is interdependent. So the mind, the body, and the soul is interdependent within each other, and we work together to create this grounding scale
Mm.
balance. And so when one is um, falling behind or the other is lacking,
Mm.
becomes a shaky foundation for you to feel whole and
Yeah.
fulfilled.
Yeah.
So I feel like the imbalance can come from anything, any factors, like, and um, that creates that creates so much disturbance uh,
Yeah.
within you feeling healthy.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, yeah. Definitely. It is definitely something that puts people out of balance. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. Let's not speak about the illness aspect, but let's just talk about having issues, because illness can be prolonged, but sometimes our
Yeah,
mental health can be unbalanced. And so it takes a lot to be whole. It's not just doing these activities to keep mentally healthy. And that's why I love having these discussions, because we're going to talk about the different ways people keep mentally healthy. And I really believe in the creative arts. I really believe it is one of the most important ways of keeping mentally healthy and balanced, because in the arts there is no rules. People are able to express themselves, like I said, the dark stuff, the good stuff. It's a safe space. And I think with mental health we need to create more safe spaces,
right.
to be healthy and balanced and whole. So yeah, no, that's good.
Mm.
The next thing I would like to ask you is, if you had all the money in the world, what sort of space would you like to see for mental health support?
Mm. I would say I would love to see it focused on the individual,
Mm.
um, catering to the services that the individual needs. Uh,
Mm.
I feel like already we do have so many services and spaces we can go to,
Mm.
but overwhelmed with not just the choices, but maybe not even having access to the kind of services that we want. Either we can't
Mm.
or we don't feel represented enough to
Mm.
go to someone and ask them for help on something that we feel they will never understand. Um,
Mm.
so with all the money in the world, I
Mhm.
wish that it was possible to literally cherry pick and create a some sort of uh, facility or machine that you would be able to, not even machine, because I feel like you need that human contact, you need that
Mhm.
heart to heart. So I
Mm.
wish that we could go into and reflect, like, as in a mirror, like we can go
Wow.
to people who we feel we are reflected in, and we
Mm.
ask them, you know, you know exactly what I'm going through because
Yeah.
you,
Exactly.
right? So please. allow me to learn from you and how you got to this space,
Mm,
because this is the space that I want to be in, knowing that you're
mm,
exactly like mine. Um,
mm.
I feel like it will take a lot of money,
All
but
the money in the world, if you had all the
yeah,
money in the world.
see ourselves represented in
Yeah,
our healthcare system and
yeah,
in our support services for mental health. But I feel like that's the number one step, is to feel represented and to
yeah,
feel reflected. Yeah.
yeah. And you think with representation, do you think it matters, especially when it comes to mental health? Like I know I do
Mm.
think it matters. But do you think just even accessing services and just
Yeah.
space, having a person that looks like you, that's walked your journey to speak your language, maybe
Yeah.
not like your ethnic language, but just the story that you share. Yeah.
Yeah. I do believe that. And because I've seen and uh, have seen the damage that that can do. Like I will give a short example. I was reading about a nurse who kept being told that one of the patients
Mm,
is showing signs, symptoms of mental illness, because
yeah.
this is also a black woman.
Mm.
Like the nurse kept tapping her head like this.
I've heard about this. I've heard
Oh,
about
she
this.
kept tapping her head, kept tapping her.
Yeah.
The doctors and nurses would gather and say, "We need to do something. She's showing like we're not sure what's happening." And
Yeah.
the nurse said, "Let me go and see."
Yeah.
He went to see what was happening with the patient, and
Yeah.
this is the epitome of why it's so important to be represented, because
100%.
if there was no black nurses there who understood the journey of hair care and our struggles with hair care and protective styles, the way we wear our hair, wigs, and all of the things that encompass our beauty world, as an
Mm.
African or black woman,
Mm.
she would not have been able to bridge that gap where she
Exactly.
go back to the doctors and say, no, she's just tapping her head because her scalp feels itchy. She's not showing.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think the reason why it was of concern, I'm not sure, but like from what I heard, was that this woman had actually given birth. So I
Mhm.
think the medical staff were concerned that she was displaying like post
Yeah,
traumatic
traumatic.
experiences from the birthing process. And then this lady just said, no, her scalp is she's just tapping it because she's got her
Yeah.
hair done, And literally, just imagine if we didn't have that representation in that
Mhm.
space. Now, a young woman would probably be diagnosed with something that she doesn't even have.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't struggling, she was tired,
She was,
probably because, she's been in hospital for hours. And it
yeah.
just took having a person that looked like her in that space to understand the situation,
Yeah.
And I think that is so powerful. And I'm also going to go into my own little story time.
Yeah.
So there was a time, I'm not going to talk about what workplace or whatever, but I had a colleague who is not African. And basically, they used to always make this joke. And the thing is, you need to stop people when they make racial jokes from
Yeah.
the onset. But I
Yeah.
was like, oh, it's nothing until it built up. Anyway, the joke was that every once in a while, when she was thinking about taking a day off, she would be like, oh, I want to take a day off so I can braid my hair you know and this is not a woman of color, this is not a black woman, African woman, this is just like a woman who just like, and it would be like a little joke. I wouldn't take it seriously because I was like, ah, whatever,
Yeah.
because she's a bit of a character. So she kept going on, like every once in a while I kept ignoring it, but because she kept going on, it became normalized. And
Mm.
then one day my team leader said, oh, are you going to take a day off to braid your hair? And
Oh my God.
I was not going to have it because, I'm in the youth space.
Yeah.
I stopped it right there and I said, stop. First of all,
Mm.
you don't speak that way because you don't understand the damage that you're creating.
Mm.
We're in a space of community, and there are people out there that this is not a joke. Because for me, I was like, you're not a person of color.
Mm.
You're not an African woman. So when you say braid, who braids their hair? Who are you talking about? And the joke implying that if you take a day off to do your hair, um, no, we don't take days off to do our hair.
It's such
We
a
don't
false narrative.
and it's a convenience thing. Like I could take a day off because I'm sick, and if my sister's home and my
Mm-hmm,
hair is nappy and she decides to do it, so what? What
mm-hmm.
I do on my day off has nothing to do with you. And
Nothing.
it was one of those moments where I really drilled in and I said, you know what? You don't know the damage you're causing. Imagine a community member walk past. Imagine the people that we serve and we claim to represent heard that. They'd be like, this is the services that these people provide. They mock us and they take our identity as a joke. So I really gave them some history. Like when I tell you, I started talking about why braiding is important, why the joke was not appropriate. And then I tapped into the fact that Black women are hardworking and you don't even understand the struggle that they have to go through. So if they have to take a day off to look cute, let them. Because when they're out here, they're doing like 100%. You know, people don't work that hard. Then they go and take care of their family. They probably have kids and stuff. So if that day off or that sick day is the day they can do their hair, let them.
Yeah.
Like, it has nothing to do with you. And it was one of those moments where I was like, I have represented, you know, because it was just one of those moments where it's like they will normalize these things. And like if some people will be like, oh, Jose, it's just a joke. No, it's not a joke. Especially for people who work in the community sector. It's not a joke.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
degrading and it does hurt people.
it
So
does.
like I agree. I definitely agree because the reason why I'm coming up with this story is because people don't realize that bullying is a real thing, you know, in the
Mhm.
community. It's a real thing. And you know, a lot of people when they think about mental health issues, the first thing they'll think about is depression, anxiety,
Right.
and all these things. But where does that stem from? You
Exactly. The
know,
root.
yeah, a lot of us who came into this country in Australia, because this is a international TV show. So just to give reference, for those of us that came to Australia and schooled here, like to hear something like that in adulthood is actually a trigger because
Right.
these are the things that have been said to us all throughout our process in schooling. And yes, like you might say, oh, you know, these Africans have become so soft and so white nice living in the West. But let me tell you something. If you are constantly being made to feel like you're
Right.
different, like you don't belong, and you've been here 20 plus years,
Mm.
of course it's going to affect you mentally because where is home? Where is
Right.
home? If you're not welcome here, you know, your features are constantly mocked. You constantly feel like people are taking you as a joke. Where do you fit in? How
Right.
can you keep mentally healthy in a space that makes you feel like you don't belong? So yeah, I definitely think representation matters. And
Mhm.
I'm so happy that you mentioned that because especially here in Perth, when I moved here, that was one of the things that I really appreciated. So Perth is in Western Australia for everyone who's watching. And I just felt like, wow, because the
Right.
first week that I was here, I saw a receptionist at a GP clinic. I saw a bank teller that was African. I saw African professionals in different spaces, and that not only instilled in me a hope that I could be what I wanted to be, but I also believed that there was opportunities for my people, you know. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, me and a little rant.
Yeah. No, that was so needed.
No,
Oh,
definitely. But so coming back to I guess, you know, poetry and femininity and feminine
sorry.
energy.
Oh, sorry about that.
No worries, that's all right. So just in regards to your poetry,
Mhm.
femininity and fem energy, can you just talk on that? What does femininity mean to you and how does
Oh,
that make you feel?
I feel like firstly, feminine energy and masculine energy. I believe we have them both. I
Yeah.
feel it is a spectrum, and um, we find our place on this scale
Mm,
wherever we fit. And I feel like because of the way that I've experienced life, I've
mm,
had to be in an element in the masculine element
mm,
that out. was comfortable for me.
Mm-hmm.
I had to over um I had to show up so much when
Yeah.
I was okay, and I had to be in my masculine element
Mm-hmm.
all, and created this pressure and this false sense of I need to be strong, I need to be strong, I need to be strong,
Mm-hmm.
and so unhealthy.
So no.
Um, Especially women who really know that they are feminine women, but they're not able to
Mm-hmm.
in the moment. And
That's because they have to protect themselves and they have to provide for themselves and they have to step into spaces that they would not naturally
yeah,
because it's
role,
survival.
yeah, you're completely right.
Yeah.
And I believe I needed to tap back into the essence of my womanhood.
Yeah.
And I decided that um, I deserve,
You do.
I deserve, I deserve many things that
You do.
I like I had not deserved before because I had been told so much that no, you cannot put yourself first,
Mm-hmm.
others before you. And when
Mm-hmm.
I shift that and put myself first,
Yeah.
my femininity began to show.
And
And
we see it and we love it.
I
Because
love
it's that radiating glow that comes when you tap into it.
it.
And I think that's why I love this element because like you said, it is a spectrum. There are moments where I definitely tap into my masculine energy to get the stuff done, work and community, but my happy place is when I am in a soft space, in a place
Yeah,
where I can receive, where I can just feel that I come first and that's okay. It's not being selfish. It's not being, self-centered or rude or diva or whatever they say. It's
right.
being in just a space where I'm comfortable. And also, I've learned, I'm not sure for you, when I first started trying to tap into my femininity, I was trying to do everything that I thought was feminine. Like,
Honestly,
like honestly,
I
the funny thing is my favorite color is pink. So nobody would ever think I struggle with femininity. But
yeah,
I was like trying to, put on more dresses, more skirts, like because in my mind I was like, if I become more feminine, then my mental health is improved. Do you know what I
right,
mean? But I was stressing out myself more. I was watching videos. I was just like, I was having an out of
right.
body experience, and I was
Yo,
like, I don't even know how to be a woman.
no.
I would literally be crying to my sister, and I'm like, I don't know what femininity
Yeah,
is.
the devastation that we feel
Yeah,
when we want to so badly be
yeah,
be able to express those emotions, and we don't know how, we don't know where to start. I was on the same boat as you,
yeah.
looking up different things, feeling like I had to do those things and be those things in order, so like I'm confident in myself, but that's what that energy is. Be
Yeah.
confident in
It is.
being yourself, be confident in expressing yourself, and like you said, it's not self,
Yeah.
taking away connotations about, okay, because I want to put myself first and prioritize myself, and being like I want to represent myself and put my best foot forward and look good, not
Mhm.
being so superficial.
No,
We deserve these, and we need to remind ourselves that we deserve good things. We
we
do.
do. We
We,
do. We work hard and we
mhm,
do right. And I think also when you put yourself first, you have room to serve others fully
oh,
and to really have room to love fully and to
yeah,
support fully. Because a lot of times, women, especially Black women, African women, I think they always feel like the best way they can show love and that femininity is by taking care of everybody else,
right.
but then that's where that resentment comes in. And I don't want to touch on that angry Black woman,
Mhm,
but of course you're going to be angry if all the
mhm,
time you're lost.
yes,
The most happiest moments of my life is when I put myself first because I had a full tank to love my family, my friends, my community, do the best that I can at work because I tapped into me, and that was how my mental health was actually stabilized because I felt like I feel good, and it showed. Those times that I walk in the room, everyone was like, "Oh, Jose, you just lit up the room." People be looking at my face.
I love that.
Jose, there's just something about you, and that's why I'm saying about you as well, is because I can see a woman in her element, and
Right.
I just know we're on that journey,
Yeah,
and
right.
it's a beautiful journey.
It's so
So, um, moving forward, even though I love the conversations and everything, what would you give to our audience as a take home message in regards to mental health, creative arts, and I guess just, being healthy in general?
being healthy in general. Well, I would say that there is need for you to prioritize yourself.
Yeah.
You need, as selfish as it sounds, and like you said, as egotistical that it sounds,
Yeah.
affirm yourself, affirm yourself, affirm yourself, and you need to remove yourself from spaces that no longer serve you. Do not feel guilty. I feel like the fear of losing people is so dangerous because you will find yourself in spaces where you don't feel full and
Mhm.
people are making you feel appreciated or valued, but you still remain in those spaces. Be be a little more disciplined in that. You need to put yourself first, and it is okay to do that. Take away that guilt. Just do that. And I guarantee you that will be the first step for you to healing yourself is to put yourself first. Put your mental health first. Put your healing first, and it will show up in other areas of your life.
Mm,
Promise.
definitely. And, just to add on to that, I think a lot of people, African people who live in diaspora, fear putting themselves first because obviously back home we
Yeah.
live in a communal society. And
Mhm.
I understand that, when we get here, people want to grow and build together. But the thing is, there are so many barriers and there are so many things that disable people who are actually progressing because you want to bring the whole community up with you, but
Right.
people have different stages. What I've realized is that when we put ourselves first, we have strength to come back for the community
Right.
and to give opportunities to community. So though
Exactly.
we may not be growing the way we used to be communally,
Mhm.
going up ahead, being that representation and creating platforms and spaces
Right.
where our
Oh,
community can rise,
yes.
that is still the communal effort.
That is
So
right.
yeah,
You
so
need to show up for yourself before you can show up for yourself fully for others, honestly.
exactly, exactly. So thank you so much, Nidal. It's been
No worries. It's been an
fantastic.
honor. It's been an
Yeah.
honor.
No, we love that. And in my mind, I'm just like mental note. I need to catch up for coffee with this.
Oh, we have to.
So,
We have
oh,
to.
let me scratch that hot chocolate because I don't drink
Oh,
coffee.
and I love
uh,
my as well. I
yeah.
don't drink coffee like that.
Yeah, well then, hot chocolate and catch ups. Yeah,
Yeah.
but we appreciate you so much for having conversations, and to our viewers, I hope you guys enjoyed, the soft conversations. It was a little different, but of course this is how it was gonna be with a creative.
Oh,
You really just started with a zen and you rubbed it off on me. So thank you so much for creating that calm energy in our conversations today. And for anybody who wants to get to know a little bit more about what Nadal does, where can we find you?
oh yes. To find more of my poetry, I am on Instagram and my poetry page is Jungle of Spells. So JUNGLEOFSPELLS. And most of my content is on there. So if you enjoyed this moment that me and Josie shared, I guarantee you would find something for yourself in the space that I have.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So before we end the show, I would like to encourage everybody to sign up to Klevnar TV. Klevnar TV is a TV that's on a social service that caters for the needs of Africans, both in Africa and in that diaspora. It is a space where we have the opportunity to create our own narrative. So I would encourage everyone to not only view the videos, but also sign up and subscribe. So, yeah, if you know anybody, share this video with them and also encourage them to sign up and just watch things that we Africans are developing in our space. So, yeah, thank you and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Hello there. Looking for an African movie? Search no further. Clevenard African Movies TV is here for you. We are dedicated to the acceleration of African films, TV series, documentaries, and lots more. Explore our movies at home or on the go. Clevenard Movies is free to watch on clevenard.com. Don't miss this opportunity. Hurry now. Sign up and subscribe today. Hello there.